All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Bottom Line Podcast, where we say what we mean and we mean what we say, because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line. Today's guest is Miss Luisa Nunez, AMC accounting professional. Hey, Luisa.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. It's a crazy day. Super excited to have you on, though.
Thank you. I think I'm more excited than you are.
I'm going to try to contain my excitement, right? So I'm going to run through your accolades real quick, just so people have an understanding of why you're on this show and, how far you've come on your journey, right? So Luisa here, again, is the CEO and owner of AMC Accounting Professionals. She's a member at the National Association of Tax Professionals, also known as NATP. She is a certified loan signing agent and a notary public. She's a member of the board of directors at She Caucus. She's a former accounting manager at Video, former accounting manager at BizFi, and a former senior accountant at Objectif Loon, right? She's also a former senior accountant at Paysetters,
Yes.
at Paysetters, and she's got her bachelor's degree in business administration at Berkeley College, right, Luisa? So, these are all the accolades, and I'm sure she has so much more, which led her to her current business, being self-employed and the entrepreneur and the CEO at AMC Accounting Professionals.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know I do so much.
Yeah. How do you not read this and say, I want to talk to her and I want to learn from her, right? Like I read all of that before I even called you and I said, I got to talk to her. I want to know more about how she got to this level, right? And what's cool is I think a lot of people also don't put enough time into their elevator pitch, right? Where you can tell somebody what you do in like 30 seconds or less. And I love that it says, I build financial certainty blueprint for startups that ensures to pay the least amount of tax. That is so important, especially right now during this pandemic. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're great at what you do, the last thing you want to worry about is paying taxes, right? Hire a professional to do that. So Luisa, thank you for taking the time, being a guest, and taking us to school today. How are you?
I'm great. Excited to be here, and yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. How have I always like to ask people when we first start out how they've been affected by COVID. How have you been affected by this virus?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
I mean, COVID has been a blessing to my business. Despite of everything, sometimes I didn't want to say that has been a blessing because, to others it wasn't really a blessing, but it's the truth. When COVID, I basically went on my own on October 2019.
Okay.
I'm sorry, September 2019. And when COVID, started, I didn't have that many clients. But then, like with everything, the government loans, everything that was going on, a lot of people, I started talking about it. I started posting information on social media, and I got a lot of clients from there that now to date have become more than clients, friends. And those clients have referred me to other people. So it has helped my business grow. And, again, despite of everything, all the negatives about it,
yeah,
it was good for me. Yeah. I don't know how, which other word to put it.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think COVID increased my business also, honestly, because when I first started, with the coaching business, I had this vision that I wanted to be across the country. And I wanted to make sure that I could travel and I could meet new people. And I wanted to do that. That's really what I wanted to do. And because of Zoom, I've been able to do that, right? So I've been able to meet people all across the country. I've been able to offer my services all across the country. So it is a blessing, and it's also a curse because, a lot of people are just really, and I think what's cool about your pitch is the level of certainty that you're able to say that you're able to provide from the outset. And right now, it's just uncertain. People don't know where the money's coming from. A lot of people have money. They don't know where they're going to spend it. A lot of people are just kind of like waiting. They're in limbo, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, COVID is definitely kind of like one of those things where it's twofold. It's a blessing and a curse, right? Have you had to make changes to maybe your business or, your daily routine because of the virus with all these restrictions?
Well, when everything started on the personal level, it was more like, my daughter,
Mhm.
she, the whole schooling went virtual. So it was at the beginning, it was very frustrating because I was trying to work and then I had my daughter and I had to do school with her. But thankfully, like we fixed that situation, now her father and her grandmother are helping out with her. But
Right.
yes, I mean, I had to make, adjustments when this whole thing happened. But I think everything happens for a reason,
Right.
and sometimes we have to look at the positive in negative situations or whatever's going on in your life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad you said that, the positive, right? So like your little girl is probably so happy to be spending more time with you, right? Because she
yes,
doesn't have to go to school. I know my kids are more happy to be spending time with me. And I'm just waiting for them to hit a certain age so I can put them to work. So they can start picking up the phones and start making the phone calls. But
right, right.
I doubt
How
they'll
old?
be
Oh, yeah,
excited about it.
8 and 5, right?
Yeah, so my son, he's 8. My daughter's 5. My son, he loves to dress up and he's like a business guy. You know what I mean? But
Awesome.
yeah, so it's like, all right, we're gonna get you on the phones, right?
Right.
When
And
the
let me know because there's a tax strategy that involves kids.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
want to learn
discussed
about
that.
that. I want to learn about
Yes,
that, right?
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure she's like when that time comes, she's gonna be just consuming all that information from her mom. I'm pretty sure of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So while we're on this topic of kids, right? Like, what kind of kid were you? Tell me about a little bit about your childhood.
I feel was a playful kid. I'm
Mhm.
still am. Like I have that little girl inside of me that I think that everyone have, but sometimes they're like afraid to bring that out,
Right.
right? And I have this I don't know, I guess this bubbly personality that I combine with, my little girl
Yeah.
inside. And it makes me have more fun and be more loose and do things that makes me happy. So I was a playful kid,
Right.
and also, I love scaring my sisters. I have 2 sisters.
Okay.
So yeah, I would do a lot of like hide and seek and scare them when they would come by,
Yeah.
and also I would tell them. So that's yes. If you if
Yeah.
you ask them, that's what they're gonna say. That I used to tell them.
Yeah. Are you the middle? Or are you which child are
I'm
you?
the
Oh,
youngest.
you're the baby. Okay, you can get
Yes.
away with anything. The baby gets away with anything, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm the middle
Not so
child.
much. I think my older sister is kind of like I always tell her like you're the favorite child in the family, but that's
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So did you grow up here in the States or did you grow up in DR?
I grew up in DR.
Uh-huh.
I came here when I was 13.
Okay. How was that transition for you? Was it crazy? Like coming from the Dominican Republic to the States? How was that?
It was crazy, at the beginning it's very hard because, you don't speak the language.
Mhm.
You have to go to this school where, you don't have any friends. And then, everybody's speaking English to you and you don't really know what to say.
Right.
So it was very hard, but at the same time, I think that helped me to kind of want to be better,
Right.
kind of want to go to college, keep studying to work on my English and
Right.
and just keep going. Because back in DR, my family is very poor. I
Hmm.
mean, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know about that life,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, it's funny. They're rich in another way, but like monetarily poor, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. Which
Yeah.
is what I always say, like in Dominican Republic, like this is a rich country.
Yeah. love,
You just take it for
family.
granted.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I think that in the way has helped me to kind of keep going and help me to kind of just work hard for what I want.
Yeah. When did you realize you had an affinity towards numbers, towards like math? I hated math as a kid. I'll tell you why. When I was a kid, my parents used to do math. We're from Haiti, right? So my parents would do math in French, and they would, I'm here, I go to school in America, but my parents over here doing math in French. And that's how they
Right.
would check my homework. So you hear them, you know, they go to the numbers and they're like whispering, or they're like doing math and they're talking. They're like doing it in French, right? And I'm like, I can't keep up with it because number one, I don't speak the language and I don't speak French. And the way that the mathematical system is different from the way it's done in the States, especially with long division. So they never translated their way of doing math to English, but they would check my answers and they would come out with the same answer. And it just frustrated me. So I absolutely hated math. I
Oh
did,
my God, that's
yeah.
so funny.
And I kind of grew up, because my older sister was really good at it, and she was the one who kind of tutored me into it. So but I hated math. So for you, you make your living doing math, right? Is it,
Yes, I mean, accounting, it's not, yes, it's numbers, but then like, thank God that there's a system, there's just software that does everything for you.
yeah,
But yes, it's numbers. What I love about accounting is that, numbers don't lie.
love it. I love
So
that.
if I tell a client this is what it is,
Yeah,
and he tells me no, it should be this, and then we add things together,
right,
this is the number. Like, there's no, like, okay, tell me something different. Like it is what it is.
right, right.
So that's one of the things that I really like about numbers. Numbers
Yeah.
don't lie.
Yeah, that's what I tell my son. It's funny you say that. When I check his math homework, I tell him that. I say the numbers don't lie. So it's looking for that fact, right? You're always looking for fact-based equations, right? In life, I guess. It gets
Right.
deep. It gets deep. um,
Right.
so how
Yeah.
old were you when you realized you were good at it and you kind of wanted to pursue it as a career? Would you say like it was high school or like later on in college?
After high school, I wanted to be a paralegal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. But then I realized there was too much paperwork involved. There was too much talking. Like,
Hmm.
I always, had this thing with my accent. And I was like, if I'm paralegal, I'm going to have to talk a lot in court,
Yeah.
like do public speaking. And then I said, I like numbers. It's something that really, I had a thing for.
Yeah.
So I just decided to switch, from paralegal to accounting, to, business administration, major in accounting.
Gotcha. Okay. And then so when you decided, you wanted to make that switch, what made you stick to it, right? From paralegal to like accounting and not jump to something else? What made you really stay there and realize that's where you wanted to be and you wanted to grow?
Well, it's something that's needed.
Hmm.
I saw a need. It's, and more when you are in this country, it's essential. So it comes down to, okay, I will go this route because this is needed, you know,
Gotcha.
and of course, the fact that I really like, numbers. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think when I first started to realize that I liked math and I liked numbers was when I started making money. I must have been at McDonald's as a kid. And that was
Yeah.
like my first on the books job, right? Like my very first job was like at 14 giving out flyers for a pizza restaurant on the corner, right? And he
Right.
would pay me he paid me like $1 here, $1 there, but I would count it and I was like, money. I was like so happy, money, right? And then the
Right.
more
Right.
counting my money, the more excited I got about because it was like, yeah, I realized later that numbers is completely theoretical if you have nothing to apply it to. All these
Hmm.
math equations, algebra, it's all theory until you actually have somewhere to apply it. You know what I mean? So for me, having
Right.
money in
Right.
my hand and actually paying for something like paying for a toy, or I remember I bought a jacket. I was like 16 years old. I bought a jacket, right? And I literally took coins from all over the house and I would like beg my mother to go to the store and buy things for her. Let me go buy some spices. Let me go buy some stuff. so I can keep the change, right? And I wanted to get this
Right.
jacket. So I finally got this jacket and all my money was gone. And I was just like upset, right? I was sick. I was like, what, 12 maybe, or 13, something like that. And I was sick. And then from that moment on, I started to love numbers. I started to love money. You know what I mean? So
Interesting.
yeah. And then I kind of wanted to learn more about math, right? Um,
Right.
for you, what I'm wondering is, you have this way about explaining information. You really, when I watch your videos and I watch how you go into um, what people are not doing when it comes to their business, as far as like their taxes, you have this way of doing it. It's very simple and it's very understandable. And when I think about what a CPA does for a living, to me, it sounds complex. It sounds complicated, right? And I don't
Right.
want to take that on myself at all. I don't even want to look at a TurboTax, honestly. I want to like delegate that, please. I'll pay
Right.
do it for me, right?
Right. Right.
What would you say to people right now when they're first starting out with their businesses? What are some things that they should focus on at the outset so that they can make your job easier when it comes for tax season?
Keeping track,
Keeping
keeping
track.
receipts, and if you don't have a system in place,
Hmm.
you need to have a system in place. Especially, with all the technology that we have these days. There's so many accounting systems. The one that I use with my clients is QuickBooks. I'm a
QuickBooks,
seller
okay.
with QuickBooks. So if you have a business, you come to me, we're going to set up a system for you,
Okay.
because that way, you're more organized and everything, you're not going to miss any expense or anything, because everything that comes through your bank is going to come through QuickBooks, because we're going to connect it to the bank account. And at the end of the year, everything is going to be there. So that's huge. A lot of people, they lose a lot of deductions because they're not keeping the right track,
Yep.
the track of their income, the track of their expenses. And then they end up paying more taxes that they should be paying. And, you're just hurting yourself and losing money and time by doing it this way.
Okay, so let's make it as practical as possible, right? It is a pivotal time right now, and a lot of jobs are not paying fair wages. So a lot of people are kind of just like scared, and they'll probably go look for a job, but then they realize that they can probably make more money with their business. So they go right into the hustle, right? They're not forming an LLC; they just start doing their business, right? So to make it more practical, because the worst thing I think for me, what I've noticed is, and I can give you this experience, that when I first made a little bit of money selling real estate, I didn't think about saving money for taxes, because I was going through a crisis at the time. I was broke. So I was like,
Right.
I got to close deals, right?
Right.
So
Right.
later on comes tax season, and I'm closing deals, money's coming in, and I know I got to save like 25% of every transaction, of every deal that I do.
Yes.
But I spend it because I'm like, I'll just go sell another building, right? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
if I sell that building will cover my taxes. So when I first started out, I wasn't thinking about QuickBooks. What do you, and I know that I hired a CPA, and my CPA now started to talk to me. He was like taking me to school, and I felt so stupid because of the way he was talking to me. And I was like, I just felt dumb. You know what I mean? And I kind of like took it
Right.
personally. And he was like telling me, don't take it personally, because I know you didn't know what you were doing. But if you do this next year, you're stupid.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So how do people make your job easier? First step is get QuickBooks, right? Is this something that they can manage themselves, or do they have to hire somebody to
Like, get
manage
a
it for them?
system in place. There's other system as well. They have FreshBooks. They have a free system. It's called Waves. Oh,
Wave. Okay.
that's free. Yes, it's very simple, but
Okay.
it will help you do the daily transactions. So at least you have something at the end of the year. If you
Yeah.
don't have, or if you don't want to pay, like $20 per month in QuickBooks, and they
Okay.
have discounts and everything. So it's not really like a huge um, amount that you have to pay. I always tell my clients, okay, you either want to pay taxes on this money, or you want to pay for a service that you really need and it's going to help you grow your company, it's going to help you grow as you go. Or, like there has to be, whether, because if you don't, let's say, accounting, QuickBooks, or let's say in bookkeeping, is a cost, it's a deduction for your business, something that you can deduct at the end of the year. So if you're not deducting that, you're still going to have to pay taxes on that income. So might as well just, utilize, the resources that you have.
Gotcha. So you provide bookkeeping, right? Like you do that as well over at AMA,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Walk me through that process, right? Like what are some things that business owners would like they probably overlook when it comes to bookkeeping?
Well, okay, so a lot of business owners are not educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most, they just want to start business, they want to make money. So they don't think about, everything that comes with it. Like you have to stay in compliance, you have to pay taxes. So, let's say like a business owner come to me and they don't have anything set up, we're going to set up a subscription for them because, QuickBooks is a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a few options. They don't have to use, QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one that I can give them a discount on. Like I get a discount because I'm a wholesaler with them, so I give them that discount, which is 50% off.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
So, from that, they can pay for the bookkeeping services per se. That's just like, we do like an analysis, they tell me, oh, I don't make enough or whatever. We look for ways to kind of see where the money is that you can pay for this service.
Like, I love it. You're leveraging and you're reallocating, right?
Right. And also there are tax strategies, tax strategies that you can strategize so you can save more money, and at the end of the year, you don't have to pay a lot of, you don't have a big tax liability.
Yeah. Basically. Love it. Okay. So I read your accolades, and you've been doing this for a really long time, right? What is it about the industry itself that made you want to go into business for yourself instead of working for a company?
Okay. So what really inspired me was that I would speak to business owners, about their numbers. Like, for example, how much do you make last year? Mm-hmm. How much did you spend in supplies? What was your profit? They couldn't give me an answer. And it's still to this day, I get these clients that they want to buy a house, but then they don't know their numbers. Yeah. Or they only are paying taxes on a profit of $5,000 because they find all the deduction in the whole wide world. Right. There. Right. When in reality, you should be leveraging the fact that you have a business, you have a lot of opportunities. There's always a way to do things. Right. There's always a way.
Yeah. How important, and are you seeing, did I interrupt you? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Because like you spoke about it a little bit, and I see this a lot too, when it comes to like helping people, make money and make more money over a designated period of time. How important is a profit and loss statement? Like, are you looking at P&Ls, or do you see business owners are not looking at P&Ls, they're not using them? Is that something that's antiquated and we shouldn't focus on anymore? Or from your perspective, how important is that?
It's important. It's huge. Like, you should be looking at your P&L on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. So you can make a decision based on that. Mm-hmm. The reason why so many small business owners go out of business is because they're not tracking anything. So they just start spending money, and then at the end of the year they have to pay taxes, but they don't know where the money went. Right. I have clients that in that situation, and then they just don't pay the government, and then they get bill collections from the IRS, and then they put the IRS is going to add penalties, is going to add interest. Right. And the bill gets huge. Like right now I had a client for example, he owed $24,000. Now they added $10,000 in penalties.
Yeah.
So that went up to $34,000.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have, this money, but then, there are other ways to do it. You can negotiate that with them, with the IRS. That's another thing. They're going to work with you.
Yeah.
Of course, if you want to do things right, if you are not avoiding the problem, because that's another thing. They don't read the letters.
Right.
From the IRS.
Right. No, it happen a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Or they just put it
because
off.
they don't want to deal with it. They avoid. And at the end of the day, the issue is getting bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying attention to it.
Right. So they need someone like you to walk them through that process, right? And to probably like avoid that whole situation. So you're talking to small business owners, and as you're talking to small business owners, you're starting to realize that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing when it comes to their taxes. But I could do that working for a company, right? Because there's high risk in going to business for yourself. You know that better than anybody, right?
Yes.
There's high financial risk, right? And then there's like not getting any clients, and then there's actually the credibility, and then there's like all these other things that I can, that you probably already thought about, right? But you just said, you know what? Like for me, I say I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy because I decided to go to work for myself, right? Yeah. So there must be some level of you that's a little bit loco en tu cabeza, right?
Yes.
Gotta be, right? For you to be able to go and work for yourself. So what was it that made you go and say, you know what? I got this. I can go out and start my own thing. What was that for you?
Well, I was doing this for multi-million dollars company.
Uh-huh.
Why can I do this for small businesses? Like all the knowledge that I gained within like 10 years, I started as a accountant, an internship. And then I kept going up until I was a manager. I was going to get promoted to controller, which is, under CFO. Right. And I just decided to leave. So it's like, I can do this, for other companies. Instead of me doing it for a company, I can do that for myself.
Gotcha.
So that's what kind of like the desire of trying to do my own thing started for. Like, wait a minute, I'm doing this for other people. And basically I'm on their schedule. I have to, there's just ceiling there also because you're limited. Right, to where you want to go or how much you want to make. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to be controlled. Like, I'm going to do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And if other people can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to make that decision. And now I tell myself, why didn't I make it before?
Yeah. So you would have been crazy to stay at another company. That's when you would have probably been really crazy, right? So taking that leap is like a sense of sanity because now you're in full control, right? You're able to help people the way that you want to help them, right?
Yes.
And you probably get a peace of mind. You probably got a peace of mind knowing that you could do this your way, right? But then there's also, it is high risk and there are like obstacles. What were some of the risks and the obstacles that you had to go through before you got to where you are now, where you pretty much know what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like not having clients, like not knowing if you're going to make enough to pay your rent the next month.
Scary. Yeah.
Yes, that's scary. And I left, corporate America, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't have 6 months savings as you should, as they say.
Right.
And I just took the faith, and I just started doing my own thing. But yes, I mean, there's a lot of, and also your mind play with you, and things in your head. What if it doesn't work out? Like, oh my God, I need to pay my bills. Am I going to have enough next month? Right. So, it's like, should I go back? Should I get a full-time job again? Or should I call my company again to go back to work with them?
Right.
So yeah, there's always that little voice in your head.
Yeah. No, it's scary. It's really scary. I wonder too, like you coming from DR and, you came here, you were 13 and, you were a little bit afraid of you maybe your accent and how you may have been perceived and all. How did you, identify your client base, your target demographic? How did you identify the kind of people you wanted to work with?
People that need education, people that don't have things in order, and the mess, the more excited I get. I don't know what it
He likes the challenge. Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they come back to me saying thank you, it's huge for me. Like, I feel like, wow, I did something good for someone. It just makes you, gives me joy.
Right.
And even when the whole COVID started, I was helping business owners stay open, getting loans approved.
Right.
They would come back to me, being very grateful about what I did.
Yeah.
So it's the reward. Feels good.
Yeah, we call that, in the coaching world, we call that fulfillment. You found fulfillment, right?
Got it. Okay.
That's what
that's what that is. Okay.
You've been looking for it all along and you know it, right? So you finally found it, right? And you really feel good about it. And I'm sure your clients are just so happy they found you, right? Because you're helping them save their lives. Like, you're literally saving lives, right? Because those tax debts will put people in prison, right? And it'll completely change their lives, their whole trajectory in life. So, you're pretty much a tax hero. You're a tax hero, right?
And I didn't know the value that what I do have until COVID.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, how do you separate? Because, we're going digital. I like that you mentioned that, because COVID opened the door for us to go digital and for us to be virtual, right? So a lot of people now, because they're contracting, they don't want to spend money. Not that they don't have it. A lot of people have money. They just don't want to spend it, right? They're saving it for this quote unquote rainy day. It's the longest rainy day ever, this COVID. We've been going this for like 6-7 months now, right? So you've got people who want to use TurboTax, right? And they're business owners, and they probably, rely on TurboTax because they can't afford a CPA, or so they think. So what makes you different from TurboTax or some kind of self-help app? What are you able to do for your clients that TurboTax can't do?
Okay. TurboTax, H&R Block, they don't care about you. You just come to them every year. You put your information in a system that will give you the numbers, but they don't have that connection with you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how they can help you. TurboTax is not going to tell you, listen, this is what you can do so you can save money. You could do it this way. You're missing out on this deduction because you're not doing it this way, right? TurboTax is not going to tell you that. So when you have like a trusted advisor, when you have someone like Luisa, I'm very, I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes that can be bad, sometimes it can be good.
Right.
And when it comes to what I do, I'm always looking for ways to save money, my clients. That is my goal when you come in here. Like, we go through everything, we do an analysis just so I know, different ways how to help you save money.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure TurboTax is not gonna do that for you.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, how do people respond when you say that to them?
Some of them, they just say, damn, I messed up. I didn't know.
Right.
Like, I have clients that they basically, would put their kids as other dependent instead of dependent. TurboTax didn't tell them that was wrong. Other dependent, they over give you $500.
Oh, wow.
Kids, your kids, it's $2,000. So he lost that credit right there.
Wow.
So, it's not like there's no one there to oversee what you're doing and tell you, and guide you.
Yeah.
The whole process.
Yeah. How far back do you go when it comes to their tax history to see where the errors may have been made by other tax preparers? Do you do that? How far back do you go?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Because under the statute limitations, the IRS only gives you 3 years to go back and get a refund.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So if you, let's say now 2019, it would have been 2016 or so for you
Yeah.
to get a refund. So we can just go back and kind of amend that tax return so I can get you a refund, basically.
Got it. So aside from the kid thing, right, where he missed out on money for his kids, what else are you seeing that business owners are doing wrong, and maybe TurboTax or H&R Block and the like are doing wrong?
Yeah, so fixed assets.
Fixed assets. Okay.
Yeah, fixed
Take me to
assets.
school. Take me to school. I know
It's
nothing about that.
huge.
Yeah.
So fixed assets, it's let's say like equipment that you buy for your business, like
Gotcha.
a computer.
Yeah.
So basically, that has the IRS has their own rules how to depreciate that equipment. For example, like you have a computer. So every day that computer is going to lose value.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So in tax, that will be like a deduction for your in your taxes, basically. And it's going to help you to get a bigger refund back or whatever it is, at the end of the day. And also another mistake is depreciation.
Okay.
Depreciation, that's, especially when you have rental properties, depreciation is huge because, if you bought a property in 2000, let's say year 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not keeping track of the depreciation every year. Again, the IRS give you some rules, how many years you can depreciate this property. And if you're not keeping track, when you sell this property, you're going to have to pay taxes on the capital gain.
There we go. Love it. Love it. Because we deal with that in real estate. Yeah. So
yes.
Let's go into that a little bit, right? Were you done with that thought process right there? Or does it get a little bit deeper? Because I think it gets a little bit deeper. It gets a little bit deeper, doesn't it?
Huh?
It gets a little bit deeper, right? Because of the depreciation, what does it do for the property owner as far as like the tax? And they, you hear about, oh yeah, buy a property, you get a tax break or whatever it is, right? So talk to me a little bit more about that before we get to the 1031. Because one of the things I think is that a lot of people can't save on the tax. They wind up spending too much money and the property stops producing an income, and then they're stuck paying the tax. They default on the tax and it shows up as a tax default, right? So then they wind up wanting to sell the property. Then they go ahead and they sell the property. When they sell the property, they want to do a 1031. And when they do the 1031, they have a timeline in which they have to identify like in kind property. Now, what I do is I refer them out. I say, talk to your tax prep person. Whoever prepared your taxes last year, talk to them. Yeah. They tell me something like what you just said. Oh, I got it done over at H&R Block, or, we use TurboTax or whatever other system they used, right? And they're not familiar with how to use a 1031. So talk to me a little bit about how depreciation can lead somebody to using a 1031 after they sell their property and how they navigate that system, what you do for them when it comes to that.
Okay, so for the 1031, I have someone that's kind of like a tax strategy, basically.
It's a tax shelter,
I have
right?
someone that deals. Huh?
Is it a tax shelter?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I have someone that does it for my clients. But yes, that's kind of one of the, I call it tax strategy or whatever, tax shelter, if you want to call it that way. But yes, and when going back to depreciation, this is a so let's say that you bought the property for $300,000. No, let's say for $250,000.
Okay.
In New Jersey, you're allowed to show a gain to $250,000.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to pay taxes above that.
Yep.
So if you have not been depreciating the property, and let's say that you bought $100,000 and you're not depreciating the property from the day that was put in service, it's going to be at $100,000. So then when you sell it, let's say it's, you have a gain of whatever of $250,000, so that, you're going to have to pay taxes on that capital gain because you don't have, the prior years. You don't have, you haven't depreciated the property basically. So you end up losing those deduction for depreciation, and also having to pay, taxes on the capital gain.
Yeah, it's like they're going down a rabbit hole, right? So like, how do you get them?
Yes.
How do you get them out of that?
And all because they don't look for help. They don't want the information. They don't want to look for someone that can help them.
Yeah. How do you get them out of that? How do you get them out of that? Here comes the tax hero, Luisa Nunez, about to get you out of that.
Now, for instance, I have a case like that,
and
we're trying to find, I have actually the client just trying to get me all the information, because we're going to have to do a catch up.
Okay.
So they haven't done it in a few years.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to do a, catch up now in 2019.
Yeah. And I'm guessing like each situation is different. It's case by case, right? There's no blanket approach either, I'm guessing, right?
Yes. The situation is different. And sometimes I'm just like shaking my head, but it's, you just have to, there's always a solution. There's always a way to fix it.
Love it. Love it. And you said the bigger the mess, the bigger the challenge, the more you like it, the more excited you get, right? So it's like,
yes, it's like, I want to dig more.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot. What did you think about the payroll protection program when it came out? Would you advise people to, how to navigate it? Like what were your thoughts when that came out? Did you deal with clients who got it and just kind of needed to figure out how to navigate it?
Yes. So when this whole thing came out, we're still waiting for guidelines, by the way, on the forgiveness, from the IRS, because I like going straight to the source, which is the IRS. So, when it first came out, a lot of people were afraid, do I have to pay taxes on this? So there were a lot, under the CARES Act, there was a lot of, there was other, a few more of, let's say, benefits that were given out. Like, not that we're giving out, but, they put in place.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you have the NOL, right? If you had, let's say, a loss last year, you could go back 5 years and spread that over 5 years, and then you could get a refund back.
Oh, wow.
Also, like, I would just explain to them, the difference. Okay, this is what you could do. If you did the PPP, you cannot claim the payroll credits. So which one is more convenient for you? So we would add all the numbers. We would, kind of see the numbers and see the difference. And then if the PPP was worth it, then go ahead. It's free money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you spend it the way it should be spent.
Yeah. Are people paying taxes on it though? If they qualify for it and they receive it, do they have to pay taxes on what they received?
No.
No. Wow. No. Wow. Nice. Right?
Yeah.
Is your caseload full right now from a lot of people who probably qualified for that and they took advantage of it? As far as like educating them on how to use it?
Yeah, so we were, they had like 24 weeks or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But then after the 8 weeks, they came out with the 24 weeks when most of my clients had already spent it in the 8 weeks. Thankfully, we're still waiting on guidelines because they're saying if you borrow under $150,000, it's going to be forgiven automatically. Like you don't have to submit an application.
Yeah.
And, I really encourage those out there that got approved for PPP is to have the correct bookkeeping done. That's one thing that I was doing for my clients, the bookkeeping of that. So that way, when it's time to apply, you have everything, there calculated.
Okay.
And you can show it as well because you had to provide paperwork.
Yep. Love it. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So you are, you're in a space where right now, as we're going through this, like you're waiting for guidelines, but Trump is not talking anymore about that package. He shut the whole thing down. And so like, I know I had a couple of conversations today with a few people who are kind of panicking right now because they don't know what to do. And they're just waiting for instruction. But if the president's not talking about it and there's not going to be another stimulus package till after the the election, and you're such a pro at leveraging and reallocating. What is some advice that you can give to small business owners right now? So that they can have maybe a peace of mind and continue doing business and not be so dependent on this stimulus packet.
Well, say a prayer.
Yeah.
No, one of the things that some of my my clients, what I told them is, they have the PPP loan, but they also have the EDIL.
Okay.
So the EDIL, yes, the interest rate is 3.75, but you have a whole year for you to start paying taxes. That's, the SBA, the disaster loan with the SBA.
Okay.
So if you haven't applied for that loan, I encourage you to apply for it, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when this is going to end. You don't know if something else is going to start.
Right.
So at least you have that there,
right,
for inventory or whatever you need for your business until everything gets back to normal.
Okay. So people know EDIL loan. What exactly is it? What does talk to me like I'm in kindergarten, please.
Okay, so it's EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
Okay.
That's through the SBA.
Got it. Okay. That's through the SBA. All right. What are they, and who qualifies for that? Any kind of business?
Yes. Under, if you have, to the SBA, a small business is any business that have under 500 employees.
Which is a crazy number, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you can apply for that if you are, contractor, if you are self-employed, you can apply as well. Okay. So, and of course, if your business was open prior to February 15.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Now, what do you,
Okay. One thing before, that I want to touch on is, a lot of people lost the opportunity to apply for this loan because they didn't have their accounting, their business paperwork in order.
Gotcha.
If you didn't have a business, let's say, registered, you couldn't apply for, some of these loans. So, let's kind of, if you haven't registered your business, let's get on that. Let's get things in order. So if something like this happens again, you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So be ahead of the game. You got to be ahead of the game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you advise? You got people. That's what I was thinking too, as you were saying that, right? Because like you want to put money away for taxes. Some people put their money away, quarterly. They put away a certain amount of money away quarterly, right? And then you got people who put money away like every 6 months or so, right? What is the best practice, right, for small business owners? Should they be putting money away for taxes quarterly? Should they be paying their taxes quarterly? Does it matter?
Yes, it does matter.
Talk to me.
It does matter.
Tell me why it matters.
Okay, probably, I don't know if they haven't noticed, but you get a penalty on your tax return when you don't pay quarterly taxes. If you are profiting more than $1,000, if you're expecting to make more than $1,000 in profit in your business, you should be making quarterly payments.
Gotcha.
Okay. That way, at the end of the year, you can get a refund back.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing here is, when you're paying taxes, you're funding your Social Security and your Medicare.
Yeah.
I know some people don't want to pay taxes, but it's for you. This is your money. So, let's think about that.
Right.
So yes, I mean,
that's best practice. That's best practice. Yes. You're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make that clear because a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't matter. I'll get to it. It's not even tax season yet. Right. And it's like, no, it's super important. Set yourself up to win. You know what I mean? Talk to your CPA about it. Right. Talk to your accountant about it. So it's really important because it is part of your expenses. If you look at your taxes as an expense and when you get paid and you put that away, you put that to the side, it's forgotten. Forget about it. Right. Because it's already put away. You've already taken care of it. Right.
Right.
So it's super important. Right.
Yes.
And I don't think people hear that enough. And then I also think a lot of people just don't know until they get penalized. Right. So it's kind of like it's it's not their fault sometimes, right? And the last thing I think I want to ask you about this whole tax thing and like, you know, the timing of it all. So the deadlines, I think it's like April, what, April 15th, April, something like that, right?
Yes, April 15th. And you know, quarterly taxes is April 15, July 15, September 15, and you know, the next year, January, you know, the following year,
Okay.
15. So, you know, it's everything comes down to doing your bookkeeping, doing your accounting on a monthly basis.
Right.
This is going to give you clarity on where your business is, how much taxes you have to pay at the end of the year. Are you reaching your goals in sales? You know, how much can I pay myself in a bonus? You know, can I hire employees? Can I go to the bank and get a loan? Can I buy a house?
Right.
Everything comes down to your bookkeeping and the way you're doing things, you know, on the financial side of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. How much time do I have with you? Because I do want to get into bookkeeping a little bit since you touched on it like 3 times. I do think it's really important. And I do think that a lot of people don't know the importance, you know, having a bookkeeper on. They want to do it themselves, right? Because they want to manage their own funds and they're kind of like, you know, control freaks at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So do you have a little bit of time to talk a little bit about that?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, you get a call from a client. They're like, you know what? I want to hire AMA to do my bookkeeping. What does that look like? How often are you doing the bookkeeping, and how affordable is it?
Well, we do it on a monthly basis. We do it on a monthly basis. And it depends, you know, if you want to see a P&L on a monthly basis or if you want to review it quarterly.
Right.
Okay.
Best practice, according to you.
Yes. Yes. And I do recommend. No, I think you have to review it on a monthly basis.
Monthly.
That way you know where you are, where your business is, you know, and you can make better decisions based on that.
Right.
Instead of just spending money, and then you go on zero.
Right. It's true. It's a fact. So how affordable is it? Is it like you know, you don't have a flat rate? Do you do it, give a quote depending on the business and how profitable they've been?
Right. Actually, I'm very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have like a very small business or whatever you're starting, we can just do it quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Right.
You know, but at least start with something. Like
Yeah.
if you cannot afford, you know, monthly service, we can do it on a quarterly basis. But I just want you to have something in place, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I always work things out, which you know, I know I'm not charging what I'm supposed to be charging, but that's okay.
Right. She's working with you. She's working with you, ladies and gentlemen. She's working with you, right?
Yes, because I tell you, you know, I am an entrepreneur like you.
Yeah.
And I know what we go through.
Right.
I know we don't have a budget for these services.
Right.
But we want to work.
Right.
If you have this vision and you have this, you know, this desire inside of you.
Right.
So for me is, you know, if you are successful in what you do, I am successful.
There it is.
Know, if you you know, my goal is to help you grow. So
right.
Because when you grow, I can grow.
Right.
You know, if you go out of business, I don't have a client.
Yeah, I like that you said that.
It's important for me, you know, to help you get there.
I like that you said that. You're so personable and so relatable. To me, as I'm listening to you talk, it sounds like you're more about the client and about the individual, right? That's what you're about, right? And you want to make sure that they're living up to their full potential, right? So
yes.
I think what's really important though, and I stress this a lot with my clients, right? I look for speed of implementation. And when I look for speed of implementation, it's like, okay, when you hire me as your coach, I'm going to hold you accountable, right? So now I think a lot of people do look at their P&Ls quarterly, but if you're a small business, you're starting out, it's like 3 of you, right? It might make sense to look at it quarterly. But now if you start to get more activity, you start to get more traction, you start to get more business, you do want to start looking at it monthly. You want to look at it more often, right?
Yeah.
Because starting out in inception, I think, you know, it's going to take you at least 3 months to at least, you know, start executing on your business plan. And when you start executing on your business plan, you start making money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're profitable. You might just be breaking even, right?
Right.
You might just start, seeing the benefits. And I see a lot of money going out on marketing right now. I see a lot of money going out on advertising right now. I see a lot of money, not as much money going out on recruiting right now, even though I think recruiting is going to be really important as you start to get more business. And then you can start to identify where the money's going out, right? And when you start to see, like, for instance, like marketing, if I'm working with a lot of people on their marketing also, and I think visibility is important. So if you're spending money on Google AdWords, you're spending money on Facebook ads, you're spending money on marketing campaigns, maybe email marketing, or you even hire a director of marketing, that's a cost-based expense, right? It's going to be an expense. So you might start to see that your marketing efforts are bearing fruit 3 months down the line. So you don't really have a P&L to look at just yet. But now let's just say that your target demographic starts really, responding to your ads, and you start getting more business. Now it's important to, hey, Luisa, we're getting a lot of business. We're making a lot of money. It's time for us to get you on board so you can start keeping our books, right?
Right.
And then you start working with them and help them meet those expectations, right?
Right.
So what's I'm listening.
Yeah, and one thing also that I, notice is that, when you're starting a business, you get to the start of, cost. And sometimes if you don't have a system to track it, you just forget what you spent yesterday or the day before.
Right.
And you miss on those, those write-offs in your taxes because you was not keeping track. It doesn't matter if you haven't made any income.
Right.
It's still, deduct these losses, these expenses in your taxes.
Right. But now how do you pay yourself a salary? Like, okay, so people need to pay themselves some kind of an income so they can buy the house, so they can buy the car, right? So what do you advise? Like, how do they show that? How do people, because it's not taking money out of your business account. You're supposed to be able to transfer that money over to your personal account to pay yourself. But when it comes to filing your taxes, like what are some best practices there to show that you're earning a consistent? I think you got to have at least 2 years worth of income as a business owner before you can actually get a loan to buy a house. So what are you telling them? Like, how do they pay themselves? How should they show that they're paying themselves?
So it depends on the tax structure that you have. LLC, when you have an LLC, you are your business. You don't separate yourself from your business. When you have a corporation, you're separated from your business. Like you're the employee and the corporation is the company. So when you have, a corporation, you can pay yourself payroll. And especially if you have an S corporation, you are, let's say, by the IRS rules and regulation, you should be on payroll. Okay. And LLC, it's basically, since you are the business, you're not separated from the business. So you don't really do payroll. You're going to pay yourself what is called a owner's distribution.
Got it.
So you can just do a transfer, from your business account to your personal account. The best practice that I use with my clients is we go over the expenses that they have on a monthly basis. And then we say, okay, you need $3,000 on a monthly basis to pay your bills. Okay, so we're going to pay, $3,000 and then they tell me, okay, I want to save $1,000, So we just transfer over $4,000, and then we put aside whatever, for the savings. And then from there also, it all comes down to doing your bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Because, you can see basically on the profit, how much also you can kind of save for your taxes as well.
Got it. So the bookkeeping is like to create that paper trail, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's basically, I always say the story.
The story. Got it. Yeah. I like that better than the paper trail. I like that better.
Yes. Like what is today? What is your let's say if you go right now and you run a P&L,
yeah,
what story is your business telling you. You know
Right.
what? You have too many expenses. You didn't reach your goal for this month.
Yeah.
You need to spend less on supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we all want to know, Luisa, since I got you here, and what you don't know, this was a surprise. Okay. I kind of surprised you with this. And I'm trying to surprise you with this. This is the real reason I got you on this show.
Really?
Yeah. It's coming right now. I think we all I think what we all want to know is how do we pay zero taxes like Amazon and like Google? How do we do that, Luisa? Nobody wants to pay taxes.
Okay. It comes down to you having a business, using your business or businesses as a tax shelter. I always say people that have businesses don't know what they have.
Using your business as a tax shelter, you say?
Yes, they don't utilize, they don't leverage, their business.
Right.
And they are 400 plus tax strategies in the tax code that will apply to certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to look for those tax strategies that will apply. Let's say, I don't know, you want to go on vacation, okay?
Right.
There's certain rules that you can deduct this, what amount you can deduct from this vacation, but then you can go around it. So if it's pleasure or whatever,
Right.
you can, deduct that as an expense in your business.
Right. Right.
So it's all about, okay, so, tax avoidance, it's legal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's legal.
So that's why the tax code is there for you to use it. Now, if you don't know, or you don't hire a professional or CPA or an accountant that can help you with this,
Right.
the tax code is going to use you.
I like that. That's a reality. You're 100%. That's a reality, because that's what's happening right now, right?
Yes.
Like the blue collars and the working class are the ones paying the highest taxes, and the rich, they just keep getting richer because they know how to use the tax code.
Yes, and they have the people, they pay, of course, they're going to pay money to this CPA, this expert in tax attorneys or whatever,
Right.
but they're going to save them all this money. So it's, it's kind of like one thing for another, taxes, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we have to get to that point, right? And I think that's where the relationship comes in, where you can start to teach people how to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And they have to be doing business for a while. They have to be profitable so that they can learn how to use those tax codes to their benefit. Right. So I'm not going to ask you to give too much away right now, because people should have to reach out to you and have to give you a call to figure out how you can help them.
Yes, that's called tax planning.
Tax planning. Okay. Which is something they should be looking at.
But yeah, exactly. Yes. So, again, it comes down to doing your bookkeeping. If you don't know how much money you have in profit, you're not going to know how much taxes how much your tax liability is going to be. So you don't have a plan.
Right.
And then the year's over and you got hit with a tax bill. So you don't have the money, or you just don't feel like giving your hard money, hard money to Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. I think I learned a lot, but I know that there's so much more to learn. And I know that there's a lot of hidden gems and a lot of hidden strategies. But the very first thing I got so far was get yourself QuickBooks. After you get yourself QuickBooks, get yourself a bookkeeper, right? And which means call Luisa, okay? Call Luisa, right? So she can help you create your tax story, right? And once you start to create your tax story and you start to make money, you'll be able to get ahead of the game, right? You'll be able to get ahead of the game, right? And I also got that you want to be able to put money away quarterly. You want to pay your taxes quarterly, right? As opposed to yearly. You also want to be looking at your P&Ls monthly. For like the demographic that you and I probably work with, that they've already been making money, they've already been in business for a while, you know, they need to get back into the habit of looking at their P&Ls monthly, right? So that they can reallocate, so they can leverage and reallocate, right?
Yes.
Because the money's already there. It's just a matter of where you're going to put it now so it can make more money for you, right?
Correct. I always tell my clients, you know, if you show me your tax return, I can probably save you, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000.
Wow. That's
or more, depending on your profit. That, you know, that's the number that's going to dictate everything.
I just got tingles when I heard that.
Really?
You could save me $10,000. Well, listen, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's make that happen yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for real. I just got chills.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you see, a lot of people don't see the value, and I don't understand. Like, if I'm saving you, if I can save you, let's say, I don't know, $20,000 in taxes, like that's $20,000 that you can save, you can put away in an investment account, you can go on vacation, and let's say in 5 years, you know, that's what, $60,000. Imagine you losing $60,000 for your current tax preparer because you don't want to pay more than $150 in a tax return.
Yeah.
Like, you pay for the value, you pay for information.
Yeah. No, it's not even, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, man. Like, yeah. And you know what's crazy is, like, right now people are doing refis on their homes. They're trying to find ways to look for money where there isn't any, right? And that's one of the ways they can do it, pretty much, it sounds like, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so if you had a loss, we can get you a refund.
Really?
Yes.
Unbelievable. You have a webinar. You have a webinar coming up, right?
I do have a webinar tomorrow. Yes, it's in Spanish. I have to. Yes, I'm putting one together in English because now it's like I have 2 audiences.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't want to leave one, you know, behind. And I've been having a dilemma. How should I go about that?
Yeah. Well, listen, that bilingual thing is paying off, right?
Yes, it is. And but you know what? I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to learn Spanish to attend your webinar tomorrow, which is not gonna happen tonight. So I'll just have to wait for the English one because I'm all over that one, right? And I'm gonna tell people, you know, just let me know the day and the time, and we'll plug it, right?
Awesome.
I'll follow you on Facebook and I'll share it also, right?
Awesome. Yes, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people definitely can benefit from this information, like a lot, right? So let me ask you this. Let's play a quick game. It's called Hands Down, the lightning round.
Okay.
I ask you 3 questions about 3 topics, and you tell me your bottom line about these topics, right? If you don't like the topic, you go ahead and just say pass, and then I'll move on to the next one, right?
Okay.
So, topic number 1, best place for you to vacation right now with this pandemic going on. Where would you say is a good place for you to go? Or are you not a vacation kind of person?
I am a vacation, and I need a vacation, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Where would I go?
Where would you go? Yeah.
I love going to peaceful places.
Yeah.
I love nature. So I would love to go to Bali.
Oh, wow. Cool. Okay. Nice. I've never been, but I've seen like maybe a couple of videos on YouTube. So
yeah, I've never been, but it's something that, you know, it's in my bucket list. I would love to visit that place. I don't know if during the pandemic, but, you know, I would love to go.
Right? It's just crazy right now. Yeah. Another question for you. So Bali, hands down, right? Favorite ethnic food?
Ooh. Hmm. I love Jamaican food.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
It's,
the Caribbean menu is like similar but different spices.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also like Indian, Greek.
Mhm. No,
Yeah.
you can only pick one, hands down.
Uh,
Yeah, that was nice though. Good try.
um, okay, I'll go with Greek.
Greek. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, Greek food is good.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got one more for you. So right now, what's a safe investment? Should people put their money in the stock market or should people put their money into real estate?
Hmm. Well, I mean, real estate's really hot right now,
Yeah.
and I would say just try to see what, because every situation it's
Mhm.
it's the same thing with life insurance, right?
Yeah.
People say no, buy term, no, buy whole life, no, whole life, buy combination. No, I think it just depends on your situation.
I like that answer.
Like what you're looking for, how much are you trying to risk,
Right.
so it all depends in the situation that you're in.
Mm, you're good. You're good because that was a like yes or no, black and white, hands down answer, and you just like took that apart. You're good. You're good
Yeah,
because there
thank
is not one response to that one. You
thank
are good.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where is your company, AMA Accounting, 5 years from now, 3 to 5 years from now? Where do you see?
AMC
I'm
accounting.
sorry, AMC Accounting.
Yes. Well, I would love to educate more,
Hmm.
to kind of like coach, maybe other people to kind of open up their own tax practice,
Hmm.
take into the process, or, just doing like trainings for business owners, doing seminars,
Yeah.
having at least two more locations.
Oh wow. So expanding.
Yeah, yes, and then yes, I'm small, but my dreams are like,
Yeah.
bigger.
Sure. No, I could
I
tell.
sometimes,
I
yeah,
could
I talk to God and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, why are you putting this in my head?
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell. Sure. Where would you go? Would you go international, like global?
Well, I would love to go to a warm place. So I like Florida
Yeah.
or Atlanta,
Yeah.
just have a location where I like to, I don't like, like one of the things that I love about counting is that something different like every day,
Yeah.
like it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I'm going, one location to another location, it's going to, like, it's now, I'm not like set, for
Yeah.
this location. I think it will be more fun to have.
Yeah. You and I have that in common. I like to just go around and have new challenges and explore different territories. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's great. So you would probably just expand your business to a place where you can go vacation, right? And then you could do two for one. You can go do business and vacation. You're taking your own advice. That's what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? They go eat your own cooking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your bottom line, Luisa? What is that reoccurring truth for you that no matter what, any kind of setback that might happen, this truth, it serves as rocket fuel for you, right? And it keeps you going forward, propels you into the future. What is that for you?
Well, there's a few,
Okay.
but for me, it's all about like I can do this. It's all about my potential,
Yeah.
right? And showing that my daughter that she can do this too. You
Mhm.
know, just setting an example, kind of leaving like a legacy behind.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, they would make fun of me, like I was dumb, I was this, I was that. So it's something that it's kind of in me, like, you know what? I'm not that person. Like, I know that's not me. This is not
Yeah.
who I am. This
Yeah.
is who I am, and this is what I can do. And, you know, and just, you know, inspire other people that you could do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm definitely inspired. Thanks for doing
Oh,
that. Definitely. Yeah. Cause it's, you know, your whole journey is inspiring, coming from DR and not being intimidated or being afraid of taking the risk, learning what, you know, what you know about, you know, being a tax prep, CPA, bookkeeper, a mom, so many different layers to you. And you're still looking for more, right? You're still looking for
yes.
more. You're still talking about growth. You're still talking about expanding, you know, during a pandemic. So it's like, I think so many people will hear this and hopefully it inspires them, right? The same way that it inspires me, right? And if we can
Right.
keep having that conversation, I mean, we survived the swine flu, right? We survived what, HRN1, right? And all these other pandemics or whatever you want to call them. So
Right.
we'll get through this one. The question is, how are you going to get through it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
definitely.
Or when?
When, right? Yeah,
I
definitely.
think November 4th.
November 4th, after the election, you're thinking?
Huh?
As we go back to normal after the election?
Yeah. I think November 4th, the pandemic's going to be all gone.
Yeah. Let's
We'll
see.
see.
Let's see about it, right? Where do
Yeah,
people
we'll
find you,
see.
Luisa? Where do people find you?
Well, I am in, you know, my office is in Hackensack.
Okay.
It's on Kinderkamak Road. It's right off Route 4.
Mhm.
And, you know, they can find me on Facebook, Luisa and Nunez. I have, you know, my AMC Accounting Professionals page. Um, you can shoot me a message. I'm always available. That's one thing about me. If you're my client, you text me at 9 p.m., I'm going to get back to you at 9 p.m.
Yep.
I spoil them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then
Likewise.
I'm like, why did I do this with this client? But whatever. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
I just, you know, at the beginning, you know, because, oh, you're a business owner, like you have to be tough and you have to kind of, so I was not being myself,
Right.
but, you know, now it's like, I just have this connection with my clients. It's like, we take it from business to personal, and most of them are my friends. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future brings, and excited about my business and everything, all the ideas I have in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you know, you can find me on social media. And should I give my cell phone? No, right? It's on
Want
social
to?
media.
Yeah. Call Luisa. What's your number, Luisa?
201
Yeah.
468 1364.
That's right. All right. And so if you need you need a bookkeeper, first of all, right? That's a good place to start. Call Luisa, ask her, you know, when she can start helping you with your bookkeeping, and then she'll walk you through the entire process to get you to a point where you pay zero taxes. All right. Any last words?
You're giving me a good,
Zero. Yeah. Zero taxes.
right?
We all want to do it.
Less than Trump, right?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
$750 on his hair? That guy's got it figured out. He's got it figured out. Like him or hate him, whatever you want to say about him. Listen, the guy writes a
Yes.
book, I'm buying
Yeah.
it. He's got it figured out.
Right. But you know what? If you say that was for medical reasons,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's okay.
You can write that off.
Right.
You know, you can write off abortion. You can
Yeah.
write off a bunch of things.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So here's a question for you. Do you
Yes.
think he's going to still have his hair when he gets out of the White House?
No.
You think he's still going to have the hair, the do? Because a
We
lot of
shall
guys,
see.
they
Why
go,
you think he's not going to be able to afford it?
I don't know. I mean, not even afford it. I think he's just gonna wind up ripping his hair out with everything he's going through. It's like,
Yeah,
you know what, you guys
going
are
on.
nuts. He's just gonna rip his hair out, and there goes the
Yeah,
tax bill now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There goes the tax.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
He's entertaining.
Yeah, he's entertaining is the word. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fun, Luisa. Thanks for taking the time. Right. Can't wait for your webinar so we can learn more, the English version.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I'll continue to follow you. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, follow Luisa on Facebook. Follow her. Give her a call. Okay. And definitely get yourself a bookkeeper. Start looking at your P&Ls monthly. Okay. And play this episode over and over if you want to really know how to create your tax story. So when Luisa comes, you make her life a little bit easier. All right. This is the bottom line.
That.
What's that?
Tax story.
The tax story.
Let's create your tax story.
Hashtag it. Hashtag it,
Yeah.
Luisa. Hashtag tax story. Right?
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. All right. This was the Bottom Line Podcast. So we say what we mean, and we mean what we say. Because at the core of everything that is, was, and forever will be, there will always be the bottom line.